Hey, I'm Hannah Roy, and welcome to Fit, Faith, and Flourish, a place for Christian women to learn to live a healthy lifestyle, prioritize their faith, and flourish as a woman of God. We talk a lot about Jesus, and then some more about relationships, business, and simply living a joy-filled life in the world we live in. I am so thankful you're here, and I pray that this episode touches you. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my podcast, Fit, Faith, and Flourish. I am just so thankful that you guys are here. Recently just hit some super big milestones, and I'm just so thankful for all the support that I've just had from all of you guys. Just being in the Thanksgiving and the holiday season has just really just shown me to be so thankful, and it is just crazy how God has worked in my life and in my business this year. And I think a lot of times we can just kind of take things for granted and not really realize how blessed we are. So if you didn't take some time last week during Thanksgiving to really just kind of reflect and thank the Lord, I challenge you to do that this week. Just a little side note, but today we are going to be talking about consistency. And consistency is something that I get asked about a lot. How do I stay consistent? What do you do to be consistent? It seems so hard and it seems so challenging, and health and fitness in general seems challenging. But my goal with my social media, with my podcast, is to show you that health and fitness does not have to be super complicated. It doesn't have to be super hard. Of course, it is going to be hard to push yourself. And of course, there are going to be days that are more challenging than others. But overall, I want to show you that health can be simple, and your whole entire life does not have to revolve around health and fitness. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about whenever it comes to consistency is be patient with yourself. It takes time to build habits. It takes time to break habits. These are things you've dealt with your whole life. And if you want to be able to change the way you've lived and be consistent with that, it takes time. There's no such thing as an overnight fix or quick fixes. You can do quick fixes, but 99.9% of the time, those are going to be unhealthy. If you want to be able to have long-lasting, sustainable results in your health and fitness, it takes time. And so be patient with yourself and be gracious to yourself. This journey is not about perfection. Health is not about being perfect and never, eating out, never eating ice cream, never taking a rest day. That is not what it's about. But it's really just about, overall being intentional with your health. And it takes time to learn how to be intentional in your day-to-day life. But my consistency in my life is nowhere near perfect. And that is not what health needs to look like in your life either. So just one thing that I really want to stress to you is be patient with yourself in the process. Don't expect results to just happen like that. That's not how it works if you want sustainable results. And just know that you need to be patient with yourself, because if you're really hard on yourself, you're going to want to give up, and it just makes the process so much more aggravating. And just being hard on yourself, let it be a positive process. Be proud of yourself for all of the small steps you take, all of the big steps you take. No matter how small or how big a step is, it is important and is awesome. So just kind of be patient with yourself during the process. This is a very important part whenever it comes to consistency. Being able to understand this is really important. Consistency looks different for everybody. My consistency is going to look different from your consistency, from your parents' consistency, from your friends' consistency. It looks different for everybody. Some people can work out 6 or 7 days a week and eat healthy for every single meal, and they can be consistent with it. Some people can only work out 1 or 2 times a week and cook homemade meals a few times a week, and that is okay. It is not about comparison. And comparison, whenever it comes to this journey, is something that is just so common and something that can really just defeat you. But your consistency is not defined by someone else's. Again, this kind of comes back to being patient with yourself. You have to figure out what works for you. And that's also why this journey takes time, because it takes time to figure out what can you be consistent with, what's realistic for you. How can I stick with the journey? Because what somebody else can stick to, you can't stick to, and that is okay. But you have to do what's best for you and your lifestyle. There are some people who just have more free time than others. Some people who don't have kids or do have kids or have a more demanding job or work in ministry more and serve more in the church, and some people that don't. And you can't compare your life of consistency to that. Recently, just kind of over the past year, my husband and I have just not been able to maybe work out as much or being able to cook as healthy as meals as we'd like to. But the thing is we are doing things that God has called us to do. We are serving in the church and doing other things. And, we've just had to have conversations that It's okay that we're not where we used to be. Like, it's okay that we can't be as consistent as we used to be. But this is what's consistent for us now. We're working out, around 4 days a week and being able to cook at home meals as much as we can. But like, we used to do, maybe work out like 6 days a week, and we can't do that anymore. But that's okay, because you have to realize that like God has you where you're supposed to be. Don't stress out that you have to work out 6 days a week or eat at home every single day, like it's okay. So whenever it comes to consistency, like, don't compare yourself to others, but rather look at your life and be like, what can I be consistent with? What's realistic for me? And start slow, maybe like build yourself up, start it. Okay, I know that right now I can work out 2 days a week. You kind of get into the routine of working out 2 days a week, and then you're like, wait, like, I know that I can do more. Then you start with 3, and then maybe up to 4, and 4 is your max, or 3 is your max. Like, that is okay, but do what works for you. Do what you can be consistent with, because ultimately, like, you're just setting yourself up for failure if you're going to go tell yourself that you can work out 6 days a week, but you're crazy jam-packed and you're not able to do that. You're not going to be able to be consistent with it. You're going to feel like a failure. You're going to be disappointed in yourself. Do what works for you. Do what you can stay consistent with, and that works, and that's great. What you can be consistent with is consistency, and that's awesome. Another thing that's really important is, of course, I have to bring Jesus into this, because Jesus is meant to be the center of everything, right? Like, if we don't have Jesus, we have nothing. And so whenever it comes to consistency, like, don't expect consistency in other areas of your life if you don't have Jesus. If you are not prioritizing Jesus, who should be number one in your life, how can you expect that you're going to be consistent in other things? Like, on the days that I do not start my morning with the Lord in prayer and reading his word, I am unproductive. I'm going to be inconsistent with things. Like, that is literally how it is for me. But when I start my morning with prayer and spending time in the Lord, I feel strong. I feel capable. Like, I feel productive, just being able to have the Lord's presence with me throughout the day. So if you want to be consistent in your journey, like, you have to seek God, because you have to ask him for strength, and just really making sure that God is guiding you in this journey, because ultimately, like, we can't do it without him. That's when we're going to want to give up. But the thing is we are doing this for him. We want to be consistent for him, to take care of our health. And so if you're not prioritizing Jesus in your journey, if you're not consistent in your walk with the Lord, like, what's stopping you from being consistent in your walk with the Lord? Jesus needs to be prioritized over anything else. And if that means maybe losing 15 to 30 minutes of sleep to spend time with him in the morning, great. If that means losing, maybe 15 to 20 minutes of your workout, you have to just do half the amount of workout so you can spend time with God, do it. It is so worth it to prioritize your relationship with God and to spend time with him over going to work out for forever. You don't have to work out for forever. Make Jesus a priority. Start being consistent with the Lord and see how that plays out in the rest of your life. Jesus changes everything, and if you start prioritizing him, you will see a big difference in consistency, motivation, productivity, literally in every area of your life. It is so cool to see what happens whenever you prioritize the Lord. So I really challenge you to start making some changes in that area. So I kind of want to talk about what consistency looks like in my personal life. So I just kind of want to give you an idea of some things that I have going on to show you that you can still be consistent, and kind of talk to you about some of my clients' lives as well. So for me, I am a wife. I serve in our church. I have a full-time business. I do social media, just a lot. I'm in school as well. So just a lot of different things going on in my life. And I am so blessed to be able to have those opportunities to do those things, but it does make me busy. And so I still have learned to be consistent in the midst of the busy life that I have going on. And so how I do that is, first off, creating a schedule and planning out my week. So I always tell my clients to plan in your workout basically like it's a doctor's appointment. Like, if you have a doctor's appointment, you're going to it. It's at the top of your mind. Like, it's happening and you're not going to miss it. And it's the same with a workout. Like, if you go into your week knowing, okay, I'm working out this day, this time, like, it's at the top of your mind, it's going to happen. Of course, there's always like things that are going to happen that are going to get in the way. However, the majority of the time, like, it's happening and you are going to stick to it. So planning out your week is very important. And how I plan out like my meals is, on the weekend, I will kind of plan out what meals I'm going to make for dinner. And then I usually just meal prep my breakfast and my lunch. And so that is really, really simple. Like, I throw together simple things. Like, nutrition does not have to be complicated. Workouts don't have to be hours. You can get a great workout in 30 minutes. And usually my meal prep on the weekend takes me like an hour and a half on average. And then I have all of my breakfasts and lunch for literally the whole week. And then my dinners usually take me around 30 minutes, like sometimes 45, but usually only 30 minutes. So like if that shows you that like health and fitness can be simple because I already have all my ingredients in the fridge, I throw together my meals. And then the other times I either throw my meal prep in the air fryer or in the microwave. Like so simple. Whenever it comes to my workouts, I usually work out around 5 times a week, sometimes 3 or 4, it really just depends on my schedule, but I know that I at least try to get 4 workouts in. And so again, I plan those into my week. I know, okay, I am going to work out at this day, at this time. Sometimes it varies. Usually I'll kind of do it first thing in the morning, but the thing is you're not going to know if you don't plan it. Like you're just going into your week with the unknown and not having any idea of what your health is going to look like that week. You are setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to be inconsistent. If you want to be consistent, set up a consistent routine for you. Set up a realistic routine for you. Like it takes time to figure out what works for you. Maybe you can try morning workouts or after work workouts, like you have to figure out what works for you. But if you're not ever planning that or trying to figure that out, like you can't expect yourself to be consistent. So it literally takes me like 10 minutes on the weekend to plan my meals, look over my ingredients, and plan what time I'm going to work out. Like it's very, very simple. And just taking those 10 to 15 minutes to set your week up for success changes everything. It allows you to be consistent. So that is kind of how I stay consistent in my life. And with consistency, like you have to play in the factor of discipline. Like there are going to be days where you don't want to show up, days where you don't want to work out and you don't want to do it. But that's where discipline comes in. If you want to live a life of consistency, discipline has to play a factor. And again, the only way you're going to have discipline is by turning to the Lord, relying on the Lord, asking Him for strength to show up when you don't want to, and reminding yourself that this journey is not just for you. This journey is not so that you can look good. And of course, that's a side effect of it. But like this journey is for the Lord to take care of the body that He has given us, to be able to be a good mother, friend, wife, sister, like whatever that may be. Like that you are able to be the best woman of God that you can be because you are taking care of your health. And whenever you take care of your health, you're able to give more to others. A lot of my clients have so many things going on, whether that be school, kids, family, church, like they have a lot going on, but they are learning to prioritize their health in the midst of busy lifestyles because they are learning that health does not have to be hard. It can be simple, but some keys of being consistent is relying on the Lord and relying on Him for strength and discipline. Planning your week. The best way that you can be consistent is if you go into your week with a realistic routine of what you can stick with. That is what's going to help you so much, because if you're going to your week with the unknown, like you literally are just like stressed out, you have no clue what you're going to do, you want to take care of your health, but you don't know how. So going into your week with just a simple plan of, hey, I'm going to work out 3 days this week and I have 3 meals planned for a week. Like start small, don't think that you just have to do this super, super drastic, like amazing plan. Like it doesn't have to be hard, okay? Consistency is challenging, of course. It's hard to stay consistent. It's hard to show up, but it's not impossible. Like if you want to stay consistent, if you want to be a consistent person, you can do it. But again, be patient with yourself. It takes time to be consistent. It takes time to grow habits. And it takes time to learn to go to the Lord first above everything else. But know that you are so, so capable of doing this. I really hope that this episode was encouraging to you, that it was helpful to you, really just showing you that consistency in health doesn't have to be hard. That consistency is something that you can do. And I also hope that you just remembered to rely on the Lord through everything. Here's just kind of an encouraging verse to get you through the next week as you learn to work on consistency and discipline. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline." When you have the Lord in your heart and in your life, we have the spirit of power and self-discipline. We are capable with the Lord to achieve the things that we want to achieve, that God has called us to do. God has called us to take care of our bodies and our health, and we are capable to do that with Him. So if you feel like you can't take care of your health, if you feel like you can't do this journey, know that with the Lord you can, and with the Lord you are so, so capable. Hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for listening. So proud of you for finishing another episode. If you have any questions or thoughts, you can find me on Instagram at HannahRoyFit. It would mean so much to me if you wouldn't mind to review and share this podcast. I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys in the next episode.